Hi, my name's Gary Ashburn. I've been working in the world of collectibles and memorabilia for over 30 years now, and I love looking for those quirky, different sort of items, and those also exclusive limited editions which you're normally going to love. I've been dealing really for about 20 years plus, but I've been a collector really for probably well over 30 years, from sport to music to unusual documents and autographs. I've seen the actual pipe stand of Winston Churchill. I've actually held in my hand shoes that Elvis has worn. I love things that are different and a bit quirky. I love finding those special items and getting the buzz when you do. Every single item we bring to you here on Idle World will come with a certificate of authenticity. It will have our name, our address, our phone number. In other words, you can contact us, and you'll have, most importantly, that symbol of AFTAL, which will tell you that you know that's your proof that it is real. So join me, Gary Ashburn, here with some great collectibles and memorabilia shows, only on Idle World.
Good evening to you, gang. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us here on Ideal World. Now, this really is one of those shows that's going to appeal to every single one of you, both old and young. And I mean that with respect, because we have got some really, really desirable, not just visual items, but unbelievably collectible items that have been signed by the artists themselves. So strap yourself in for a musical whistle-stop tour of decades of incredible history of music, musicians, and their accolades and achievements. We're going to start with these fabulous, highly collectible, platinum-framed editions. Now, we're going to start with the lady of the moment. Whenever this lady brings out an album, now I know she's going to rest for probably about another 4 or 5 years, and then she'll bring out another album, which will probably be, 35 by that time. We are, of course, talking about the incredible Adele. I don't know if you saw that audience with Adele, but it really was amazing. Whether you love her or loathe her, you've got to adore the voice that comes out of her. This is a platinum disc, a photo display. There's only 100 of them in the edition. Your details are on the screen. They do sell out very quickly, and it's the first time we've offered Adele on this channel. You can have it over 4 flexible installments. The details are on the screen, so take advantage of the deal. It's 947001 for Adele. This is just a whistle-stop tour, guys, a preview of what's coming up. Now, if you jump back, we can start talking about Harder Glass Atomic. We are, of course, talking about the incredible Debbie Harry. But when she was in the band that was Blondie, that's when the hit machine really did get into the business, didn't it? These are Parallel Lines, one of the biggest selling albums of its era. And this is Blondie, I think, personally, at her best. If you are a fan of Blondie, you've got to have one of these in your collection. $62.50 a day, plus your postage. First instalment of 4. And what I love about what we've done here is we've shown them as a display because these are collectible for multiple reasons. Firstly, there's only 100 of them in edition, so they are collectible because they're rare. Secondly, they are artistic, because what is art, objective or subjective? That on a wall looks amazing, but that with another one on a wall looks incredible, and that space is filled, and you go over to it, you spend time in the space, so they'll move you around the room, not just your eyes. That's Blondie, and we've got Adele, already busy on both. Move over here, now one of my personal favourites. We lost them a few years ago. The legend that will always live on, the incredible David Bowie. This particular album, 1972, it was released. It was the album after Hunky Dory. Now, David Bowie had been around quite a bit before then, but these were the albums that really got him noticed. And the reason why this one is so prolific is because this is when he killed off Ziggy Stardust. I can't believe it. Even his backing band with Mick Ronson and all the gang, they didn't even know. When he announced it on stage that this is the last performance of Ziggy Stardust, the Spiders from Mars, those guys, they're all standing going, whoa, hang about, what, really? What? So that's it, we're out of a job. Didn't even tell him he was going to do it. That is one of the most iconic albums of Bowie. You've got to get that one. Very, very low numbers of that. 941360. Now we move on to another of the latent greats. We only lost him just recently, didn't we? Such a shame. One of the biggest selling artists of all time and the biggest selling albums of all time, that being Meat Loaf, Bad Outta Hell. So if you're an old rocker at heart, or maybe you're a new rocker, just got into it all, that is one of the most iconic top 10 albums that you will ever, ever own. 947000. And if I may say, I mean, this is not duplicity, that is duo perfection. Meat Loaf and Bowie, you're in the presence of legends, right? They're available for you. Now we move on, and we're going to move on to the legend of reggae, taken long before his time, sadly. That being the incredible Legend album that is Bob Marley. This one's the gold disc, so that's in recognition of 500,000 sales. The platinums are for 1 million sales. Again, very, very iconic. If you want that one, you will need to get a wiggle on. We only have a very, very small amount of those. 879-988. But don't they look incredible? And I know one of the rarest of them all is this one. This is the Sun, Elvis at Sun. This is a very, very rare platinum edition, this one, as you can just see here. Great pictorials of the legend himself. And he shared a birthday with David Bowie. He was born in 1935, Elvis Presley, in Tupelo, Mississippi. David Bowie was born 12 years later in 1947, but both on the same birth date. Now, I'm trying to remember, is it the 16th of January or the 10th of January? Was it the 10th? Thank you. The 8th of January. I've got so many dates in my brain. But I've got the brilliant Alex Knowles in the studio who's going to wow you with his knowledge and also. So they're flying out. Now, they're the platinum and they're the gold discs. But when it comes to collectibles, the one-offs are the rarest and the ones that are most desired. And you can already see here some of the biggest selling artists of all time. And these are personally signed by the artist. Fully authenticated by Avatar. And you're going to get Alex. They're going to give you all the details about it in a moment. And we've got a little trick up our sleeves. I just want to draw your attention to the legend that is, and I listen to this woman a lot when I'm driving home, that being Shirley Bassey. This is Good, Bad, But Beautiful album, signed by the lady herself, and I believe we've only got one of them. Just one. That, for under 200 quid, is not just a way to complete a collection, but also to start a collection. 947006. We've got Cher, we've got Debbie Harry, we've got Rick Wakeman, we've even got Mariah Carey signed as well. If you go to our website, ideaworld.tv, that's where everything lives, and you need to be getting a wiggle on because we're already busy across all of the discs. So you need to be seriously lining these up and knocking them down as quickly as you possibly can. I've got to just quickly point out, as we move through these, and I'm so disappointed we don't have the samples in the studio, my favourite band ever of all time, Pink Floyd. Right there, you've got the Division Bell, okay? Now, that is one of my favourite Pink Floyd albums. We've also got there, yeah, that's the one that's got Marooned on it. That's the one, What Do You Want From Me? High Hopes, Coming Back to Life. That one there, okay? We've also got the Beatles' Abbey Road. Look at that, one of the most iconic album covers the world has ever seen. We've got that available, okay? But we don't have the line samples in the studio. So you will need to be fast and furious. Now, when it comes to our collectibles, we have a new expert. And it's always a pleasure to work with. Please welcome Alex Knowles. Hello, Alex. How are you?
I'm super excited, Mike. Super excited because for me, like you, I'm a huge fan of collectibles and what collectibles can do for people. Take you back to a period of time. If it's that one song, that one, as I say, period of time that you remember, something that you can pop on the wall to give you the best memories. And we have literally, I mean, we are graced with legends tonight. That's the only way I can describe it.
Well, speaking of legends, I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I'm just going to tee it up.
Yeah.
Okay? We have got one of the rarest by one of the biggest. Yes. And I'll say no more.
Yeah, absolutely. When we're talking about absolute legends, we're talking about here ABBA. But this is super, super rare. That's the first thing I'm going to say, because this is signed by all 4 members of the band. And I know this is important to people. Again, as a collector myself, you need to know when and where and how. So to tell you that this was signed at the same time, this was over 15 years ago when this was signed by all 4 members of the band. This is iconic. This is when we're talking about music that really transcends the ages. My children, for example, my kids are 10, 12 and 14. If I sit in the car and I pop on Waterloo, the 72 hit Eurovision that started it all off, the kids are like, oh, turn it up, Dad. We know this one. Dancing Queen. All of the great tunes that you get with ABBA. But to get, obviously, all of these signatures on... So, you know, yes, you can come across one signature, maybe 2 signatures, but ABBA signing on their own anyway is very, very rare. So to have all 4 members of the band on one piece, breathtaking.
Now, just quickly, anything you get, and especially the signatures, they all come with the lifetime guarantees, don't they? Because
Yep.
they come from, well, you tell us the background.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really important as well because it's a lifetime guarantee that you get with this. You get a certificate of authenticity. Now, when we're talking about certificate of authenticity, you'll find as well on the back of that certificate, it will give you a registered number. It will let you know the name of the dealer who's obviously brought it to you. But also the key thing that we're talking about with this is that it's AFTAL. Now, anybody that's wondering what is AFTAL? AFTAL is a body, if you like, that regulates authenticity of autographs. So it stands for the Autographs Fair Trade Association. Police, training standards, even auction houses, for example, go to AFTAL to check that obviously the signs, the signatures, the memorabilia that they have, it is genuine. And this isn't a body that you can just join. I can't, as Alex Knowles, just decide, you know what, Mike, I like collectibles, I'll go and join AFTAL and start flogging them. It doesn't work that way. You have to be invited to join there as well. So it's just that peace of mind that knowing what you're getting is the genuine article.
And everything comes with COAs as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. All comes with COAs as well. Lifetime guarantees, as said. And on the back as well, the great thing about this is there's an opportunity for you to even contact the dealers on occasions as well. So you can find out just a little bit more. And they love it. I mean, I work very, very closely with Gary Ashburn, who we saw at the start. Gary loves it. His passion is memorabilia. It's collecting. So no problem at all to get in contact with him with any questions you've got about any of the items.
We've only got one. If you want the ABBA mounted colour photo, you need to have it in your basket. You've got your 14-day money-back guarantee. Someone's already got it in their basket, okay? So if you check your basket out, you get it. If you don't, probably going to have about 3 or 4 people trying to get it before you. They made the name of the band by taking the initials of every single group member. That's how they come up with ABBA. My friends tried that when they made a group. There was Christopher, Richard, Andy and Peter. Didn't work out well for them. Okay, right. Loads and loads of buyers already. Clean that right up, trust me, right? We've just got to go back to one of my... Well, look, my goddess, the lady, we've got an art wall in our kitchen.
Yep.
And we have got a lot of Bowie stuff. She is the biggest fan. I adore Bowie. We're going to go back to this one, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking about this earlier as well, weren't we? This is what is amazing about Bowie. And again, this is what we're talking about, the legends, the icons that we've got here tonight. Because we're talking about somebody now who wasn't just big in the 60s, or certainly the 70s and the 80s, and obviously following into today. But we're talking about someone who is studied now because of what they've done through musical history, because of the changes, if you like, that they've made. Changes.
Nice little segue.
All of the different ways that they've moved into that. I mean, to come out as Ziggy Stardust, for example, this is something that had never been seen before. To take rock suddenly to that glam rock, it's the same kind of thing that Elvis did when he suddenly turned up on the scenes and people were thinking, what is this? What is this rock and roll? How does it work? But what I love about Bowie and a lot of the artists that we've got tonight as well, they really aren't. It's not just the music as well. It really isn't. It's the way they transcended, obviously, into politics, the way they transcended into movies and films, labyrinth, fashion. They set trends. They're trailblazers. And you really have that. The piece itself is beautiful, Mike.
Did you know the first song David Bowie released and it put him on the map?
No.
The Laughing Gnome.
Really?
It was the Laughing Gnome. Ha, 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 he. I'm a laughing gnome and you can't catch me. It was before he was recognised as David Bowie. So the Bowie fans out there are already knowing that, right? This album it's so iconic because, I mean, what you have to understand is this was Bowie as that alter ego. I won't go into the full description of what he described himself of as Ziggy Stardust, but it ended, this album's all about, if you will, the rise and fall of this person from another planet that ends in this apocalyptic disaster. But the album itself was so prolific for Bowie, and the reason for that is because he wanted to get out of the character. He'd had enough of being Ziggy. And then what he did is he killed Ziggy off on stage, and that's why it's called The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. And then he reintroduced, and one of the most iconic pieces of pop imagery that's ever been seen, the famous Aladdin Sane. So you've probably seen David Bowie when he's got the lightning flash across his face. That was Aladdin Sane, and that was, if you will, the Americanized version of Ziggy.
Right, okay.
And then obviously all of the other music that started coming out. And Bowie's done so many different albums, and he's just the most iconic, without a doubt, artist of the world. These as pieces on a wall, they look sensational.
They do. They look amazing. And again, they're a little bit bigger than perhaps you sometimes will see from other collectors as well. They're exclusive to us here on Ideal World and on ITV. But the great thing that you've got with these as well is that they're limited edition, and that's the main thing. There's only one of 100 of these. But as you said, they're talking points. They're the points that when you put them on a wall, people are going to come automatically over to, and they're going to share their memories. This is the beauty of doing these shows. This is why I'm so excited. Did I know the name of the first song he released? No. Because
you will now.
Yeah, I do, and I will now, because we learn things as we go along. Another thing that I've learned literally just today, just from reading up on Bowie as well, which is amazing. Did I say, I'll throw it back to you. Did you know David Bowie has sold more vinyl records in the 21st century than any other artist on the planet?
Well, do you know why that is the case? He was one of the originators. He saw the potential of the internet. So he actually released one of the first downloadable albums. So he was not just a trendsetter in fashion. He was the Thin White Duke, he was David Bowie, he was all Ziggy Stardust, Aladdin Sane. He was all these different caricatures. He's also a very accomplished actor. He got prolific acclaim for his portrayal of Elephant Man on Broadway. It's unbelievable what he did. And then we all saw him in Labyrinth and all of The Man That Fell to Earth and all the rest of it. But he was just such a trendsetter that there is no one ever like him.
No, and there won't be another one. And that is what I mean when we're talking about collectibles, because as you say, there's so many different songs, there's so many different albums, there's something that will take people back to a different part of their life and memory. And this, you only have to see it on the wall. Once you've got it and you've enjoyed it, and you know it's just there, you'll catch the eye, and it will bring you back. It will bring back that nostalgia.
Well, you'll walk out, and the funny thing is as well, if you've got anything, any artistic reference on your wall, and if I may say, of Bowie, someone's going to walk up and go, that's a Bowie Platinum disc, that's amazing. And you almost start thinking differently of the person who's got it on their wall. So let's move over now to, sadly we lost him just a few months ago, the incredible Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell album.
Yeah, but again, when we're talking about iconic, this for me is probably the album. Again, everybody's different, but the album of all time. This is an album that's spent in the charts over 520 weeks consecutively. It's the longest trending album ever. Absolutely incredible. And the stories behind it, the stories, I mean, I think a lot of us know Meatloaf, I think, because he's such a larger than life character anyway. Very, very similar to Bowie as well, a real trendsetter, not only in music, but obviously in acting as well. He kind of did it all, but he did it differently. And that's what I love about Meatloaf, and especially this as well, because what we're looking at here, when you're talking about, I mean, this is obviously a platinum disc of a replica of Bat Out of Hell, but this is a disc that went platinum 14 times, Mike.
Wow, that's amazing.
Absolutely incredible. And just the behind the scenes of who the man is himself. Couple of, again, I love this, just strange little facts. So he was a collector as well. Meatloaf, and you wonder, well, I wonder what he would collect. Would he collect other pieces of music and memorabilia and things like that? He collected rubber ducks. He had a collection of over 100 rubber ducks. And probably my favourite Meatloaf anecdote, if you like, just because it's so Meatloaf, if you like. The Royal Horticultural Society, during those times, would play music. Certainly when Prince Charles would be talking about playing music to plants as it helps soothe them and help them grow. So they played two types of music to plants. They played Tchaikovsky and they played Bat Out of Hell. 3 guesses for which one made the plants grow more. Bat Out of Hell.
Wow, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's absolutely amazing.
That's, now look, guys, the Bowie's gone mad, okay? Now, there are 100 of them in existence. We don't have the 100. Just so you know, we've got a very, very finite amount of them, because obviously these are sold all around the world and are highly collectible. We've now got the Bat Out of Hell Meatloaf. That one's flying as well, 947000. I am so gutted, but I'm also so elated. When I was looking at what we actually had available on the show, I have loved Pink Floyd pretty much my entire music-loving life. And this is one of those standout albums for me that really does just create such an unbelievable journey, and I think it's representative of Pink Floyd at the best. Now, look, obviously Dark Side of the Moon is a must-have. Delicate Sound of Thunder album is just incredible. That live performance just blows you away. But this album has got the Marooned on it. Now, Marooned is one of those songs, there's no lyrics in it whatsoever. You've got High Hopes on there, Coming Back to Life, What Do You Want From Me? All of these really, really cool Pink Floyd examples of how just they transcend year after year after year. I think also they had, I think it was The Wall and Dark Side of the Moon that had the longest time in the album charts of any band.
Yep, they did. I believe it was 5 or 6 years during the time, again, consecutively in the charts with this music as well. This alone, when we're talking about the Division Bell, the tour alone from this grossed $100 million. Now, again, back in those days, and being rude of saying back in those days, but that's a huge amount of money to be grossing from a tour. Massive following, and again, even now when we're talking and coming into the 21st century, you're getting a lot of younger fans that are listening to this music. It's being passed down from their parents that are listening to it because they don't make music like this anymore. It's something completely different.
Guys, it's my favourite band ever. I've actually got platinum discs in my man cave of Pink Floyd. Not that that should influence you, but that is busy. 568086 is the item number. Now, when it comes to iconic album covers, Abbey Road has to be one of the most famous ones. And for all manner of different reasons, the barefoot Lennon, the barefoot McCartney, the cigarette in the hand, they changed the album covers, all manner of different things. Give us your fascinating facts about Abbey Road, Al.
For me, if you're talking about the Beatles, Mike, you're talking about Abbey Road. If you ask Beatles fans what is the number one, what's the iconic album to get, it's Abbey Road. It's the one that's the most memed album cover ever. This is where everybody wants to try and take their photos walking across the zebra crossing, if you like. The fact that I love about this the most is where they're actually going during this shoot. 1969 is when this came out, and they're on their way to EMI Studios to create the Abbey Road album. It was such a huge success. We're talking about, obviously, the most popular, most successful band in the world ever, that the studios that recorded the album itself, EMI at the time, actually changed their name to Abbey Road Studios off the back of the success of this album. Incredible.
It's amazing. There are so many incredible facts about the Beatles, but it's one of those bands, one of those groups that there will never ever be anything quite like them ever again. I mean, they literally broke every single record, and their record sales was just ridiculous. And I mean ridiculous. But to have that on your wall, I think the wall is a better place for it.
Yeah.
And I think it really pays homage to 4 legendary musicians that, well, 2 of them were taken long before their times, as well, you know. Fortunately, we still got 2 of them in existence. But that is an album that I love to. I often go back in my back catalogue and I often listen to Abbey Road.
Yeah.
Me and the Goddess, we sit in the snug some nights and I'll pour myself a drink and we'll put Abbey Road on. And it takes you on those journeys. And that's the lovely thing about music. It takes you on journeys that no vehicle ever can. Past and present reminds you of people that are no longer with us, and it'll just elate you. Busy on that, really busy. 933-326 is the item number. Now, first and foremost, if you've got ABBA in your basket, you must check it out now. How many trying to get the ABBA, Ev? We've got 2 people going for 1. Now, you've got your 14-day money-back guarantees as well, guys. Please remember that. And take, I would think, confidence and reassurance in that. Al, let's go to Adele now. Very busy on the Adele Platinum disc.
Incredible. I mean, now, I know we're saying the word incredible a lot, but this girl, lady, she's 33 years old. With Adele, I'm going to talk to you in statistics if I can, because it's all numbers, and it really is all numbers. Starts with 19. That's her first album. Then, and 19 was amazing. I think 19 got 6 Grammys. But then, bang, boom, the explosion. 21, 25, and now, obviously, the most recent album, 30. As you said, she'll probably go off now, do a few things.
She's actually said,
Yeah.
I mean, I know she's doing the residency in Vegas now, isn't she? But she's actually said that she won't bring out another album. She's going to take 4 or 5 years off.
Yeah, and take her time and then come back to it. But what she's done in a short amount of time, 120 million plus record sales worldwide, which is phenomenal. The thing that surprises me the most when we talk about music, and certainly modern day music, I can't really take this back to the era of Floyd and Bowie because it wasn't as big then. But when we're talking now about music, we're talking the Oscars of music is the Grammys and the Brit Awards. This young lady has won 15 Grammys. 15 Grammys and 12 Brit Awards. And she's only 33. She's only brought out 5 albums. It's
and an Oscar.
And an Oscar. And you know, for me, you know, certainly I think as a female artist, because it's more common to be female artists, but you know you've made it when James Bond comes knocking on the door and says, sing us a song.
And it was a great song.
Great song, Skyfall. Fantastic.
947001 is the item number if you want to go for Adele. That is absolutely flying out. And if I may say, and again, this is what I was saying to you earlier on, one of these discs is never enough because we've got 2 over here on the wall and they just fill the space brilliantly. So you better be prepared that you're going to start a collection of these. This is why these are so collectible. But I really, really appreciate that just as a piece of art. I think it's wonderful.
Completely. And they look great together, don't they? Just to quickly give you the specs as well, if anybody's wondering the sizes and everything, so if you're measuring up to put them on the wall, you're looking at 50 centimetres by 60 centimetres here as well. So they're a really, really good size. They work beautifully. I love the fact that, certainly with the platinum discs here as well, it's just little things, but I love this, the fact that the frame is matching the colour there as well. The gold ones, you've got a golden frame going around the outside there as well. You've got obviously the larger photo here, you've got then the album cover, and then you've obviously got the recognition of whatever it would be. This one, for example, with the Blondie being the platinum disc and photo display in recognition of over 1 million albums worldwide. Limited edition, as we said, we've only got 100 of them.
I'm going to. Do you know where they look amazing? In the toilet. In your bathrooms, in your toilets, they look incredible. You never tire of looking at them, and when you're sitting down and you're doing your ablutions, it's something great to look at. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there. Some of you might go, oh, maybe, maybe not. Let's go to Blondie. Again, just the other day, I downloaded a load of Blondie stuff because you never tire of listening to it.
And again, having an next to Adele, if you are getting two, we're talking about the very, very kind of future now with Adele, and we're talking about the past with Blondie as well. And so many great stories. When I was doing some research and trying to find out some more different facts and things like that, one of the things that I love to do is take these albums and just play them as I'm writing my notes and feel kind of like the music and the spirit that comes from it. And Blondie as well. What I love about this is it's how sometimes things come about. Now, what I mean by that is Blondie. Where did Blondie come from? Because she's strawberry. She's almost ginger in hair colour. But she dyed her hair blonde, and she was walking down the street, and it was literally in New York, and a trucker had stopped and wound down his window during those days, gave her a wolf whistle, and went, "Oi, oi, all right, Blondie," because the band originally was called Angel, and then it was called Snake, and because Blondie stuck, that's where they came with the name of Blondie. And then obviously the band transcended, it carried on and on and on. She's a proper rock chick. Her, Cyndi Lauper going against each other, certainly the 70s and the 80s again, transcending, pioneering women. 6 UK #1s. This album, for example, Parallel Lines, first released 1978, straight in at #1 in the UK charts.
It's a fabulous album. I highly recommend you download it, but I highly recommend you have that on the wall. And that one, it looks sensational, doesn't it? It's got a real balance to that one. The black and white and everything. I love that image down there as well. I think that's brilliant.
And again, very, very clever the way this has been done as well, because if you look at the album cover here, you've actually got them in black and white. So by actually putting the photo of the band there in black and white as well, just makes it stand out. Looks fabulous.
So there you go, guys. If you want the Blondie Parallel Lines framed mounted platinum, 879989. Right, OK, so listen, gang, we've got some good news for you. Now, we have got a very, very rare piece, that being a fully signed photo by all of the members of ABBA, OK? Now, I know you might think it's a fair chunk of change, but all the allocations that had this in their basket have actually left the allocations. So we've got this one piece up for grabs. Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. When we're talking about ABBA as well, we're talking about one of the most well-known, most popular bands ever from the 70s, 80s, 90s, even today, even now, obviously, with the new track and new album that they brought out last year. But when we're talking about memorabilia in ABBA, extremely rare just to get individual members signed. So to have all 4 members signed, and this for me, I don't know if everyone at home will agree with this, but this is crucial. This isn't a piece that's been posted around to the 4 of them and it's taken kind of 3 years to get it together. This was all signed together at a PR event roughly just over 15 years ago as well. So to get that piece as a collector piece, as a band again that will be playing music that will be playing for years and years to come, sensational piece. And I think, honestly, Mike, at that price is fantastic.
Yeah, fully authenticated, all of the everything you need. Got all the provenance there, but more so than that, you've got the great Aftal peace of mind there, 947002. So please get that in your basket if you've got that dollar, and get that checked out. Okay, the most successful recording artist ever of all time. I've got to be honest with you, I've got a couple of albums. I love the Royal Symphony Orchestra one that they did of the posthumously. Just phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. He is the king. When we're talking about an icon of the last century, Elvis is up there. 500 million plus record sales is incredible. But I think sometimes because of the music that we get from Elvis, We forget the fact that he was a massive movie star. You know, he didn't just do a couple of films here or there. He was making loads of films as well. He transcended rock and roll. He created rock and roll. And what I like about this piece, because we could talk about Elvis all day, this is the beauty of it. But for collectors, this is very, very rare, as you said right at the start, because what we're talking about here is the actual piece itself. This is at Sun Records, so this is an early Elvis edition. And you can see that with the photo that you've got here as well, and the sleeve of that. So again, this is one of 100 limited edition. Now, this is just for Ideal World that we have these here as well. Once they're gone, they're gone.
Hardcore Elvis fans simply have to have that. And there's a lot of you out there. 941493. Take advantage of the deal. Do please not dilly and dally. Put them in your basket. Otherwise, you will kick yourself. Look, guys, if you go to the website, idealworld.tv, there are some very rare pieces. Also, watch out. We have got a Steve Tyler signed piece from Aerosmith down there as well. So if you love Steve Tyler, you're certainly going to want to get hold of that. There's a signed Coldplay piece. If I'm not mistaken, that's signed by the entire band, if I'm not mistaken. So that's signed by all the boys, OK? That's the Coldplay. We've also got Slash as well, as you can just see there. That's a signed piece by Slash, which is just phenomenal. You've got Paul Weller's Stanley Road album, one of my favourite albums of the 90s. It was such a good album. You Do Something To Me, Pebbles on the Beach, Changing Man. I think Weller at his best. But then one of the most versatile, the Mod Father, Style Council, The Jam. You've got to love Weller. There's that Steve Tyler piece, signed by the man himself. Without a doubt, the biggest, one of the biggest names in rock and roll. He is phenomenal. Love Aerosmith. Dream On's one of my favourite. Although saying that, Get a Grip album was just so cool, wasn't it? Phenomenal. We've even got Kylie. There you go. So from the beauty to the beast. It's all available. And remember, all courtesy of the fabulous man that we call Mr. Gary Ashburn.
Hi, my name's Gary Ashburn. I've been working in the world of collectibles and memorabilia for over 30 years now. And I love looking for those quirky, different sort of items. And those also exclusive limited editions, which you're normally going to love. I've been dealing really for about 20 years plus, but I've been a collector really for probably well over 30 years, from sport to music to unusual documents and autographs. I've seen the actual pipe stand of Winston Churchill. I've actually held in my hand shoes that Elvis has worn. I love things that are different and a bit quirky. I love finding those special items and getting the buzz when you do. Every single item we bring to you here on Ideal World will come with a certificate of authenticity. It will have our name, our address, our phone number. In other words, you can contact us, and you'll have, most importantly, that symbol of AFTAL, which will tell you that you know that's your proof that it is real. So join me, Gary Ashburn, here with some great collectibles and memorabilia shows, only on Ideal World.
Now, we are about to show you, we've had to leave deals to the end because we've only got one of each. These are as rare as hen's teeth. Let's start with, where should we go? Let's start with Mariah Carey.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what a great place to start as well. When we're talking about Mariah Carey, are we talking about pop? Are we talking about hip hop? Are we talking about dance? I tell you what, we are talking about probably the #1 diva, first of all, when it comes to pop princesses, to pop queens as well, and Christmas. That's the thing for me when I think of Mariah Carey. And it's amazing because we're talking about somebody here who's had 19 top #1s in America. But Christmas, All I Want for Christmas, absolute #1 bestseller for her as well, and done beautifully well. I love this because it's a little bit raunchy as well. It's what I like about Mariah Carey. To get that signature as well from somebody, again, who is an icon, is a trendsetter for a lot of the younger artists coming out, is amazing. And again, very, very rare to get Mariah's signature.
Only got one of them. First come, first serve. It's an amazing price, that. £65 a day plus your postage, first instalment of 4. Now, you saw the Parallel Lines platinum disc. Now we've got the lady herself, and a very rare one-off Debbie Harry signature.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, if for fans of Debbie Harry, for fans of Blondie, for fans of fashion, because again, when we're talking about Debbie Harry, it's not just music. We're talking about fashion. We're talking about a pop icon, a style icon as well. The 70s and the 80s. Blondie themselves as a band, 6 #1 hits they had in the UK as well. And again, some of the most classic songs now that my children are singing along to. They're singing along to songs like Maria, for example, and they're saying to me, "Oh no, Dad, this is this artist." And I said to them, "It's not." And when I play them the original from some of these artists, they find out actually a lot of the stuff that they're listening to isn't original. It's been taken from back in the day and obviously remixed.
So if you would like this, already busy on this, we've only got one of them. It all comes, as you can see, mounted in this incredible display. And on the back, oh, there we go, just got it all there. It comes as an individual piece. Just so you've got that full peace of mind, that's your COA, Certificate of Authenticity. All the details you need to know, it's all there for you. Now, we've got bias for the Mariah Carey, we've got bias for the Debbie Harry, we've got bias for the Bowie, the Adele. You've got to check your baskets out now, gang. Things are going to go. You're going to kick yourself. Now, Rick Wakeman.
Yeah, when we're talking about pianists, when we're talking about keyboardists, there is only one name in the music industry. He's played with all of the very, very best. Obviously, we're going to go straight to Bowie. He played with him on Space Odyssey, but he's played with Elton John, with Cat Stevens, with Black Sabbath. The names, the lists go on and on and on. The Royal Symphony Orchestra, his own bands himself. We're talking about someone who was very much ahead of his time with regards of just how well he played the piano. But not only that, not only as a keyboardist, not only as a musician himself, as a man. And one of the lovely things that I enjoy working closely with Gary Ashburn, who we know, who brings all of these fantastic collectibles, is that he actually gets to spend a lot of time with these people. And he knows Rick Wakeman quite well. And he had this, for example, he does a lot of signings at charity events, and that's where this album has been signed for. So to actually get the signature on the sleeve is something that's very, very rare. But Gary was telling me that when he plays and when he does charity events, he likes to, he almost does like a Dudley Moore spot, where he plays the piano like in a funny way, in a silly way, to get people coming up and singing along and things like that. By all accounts, he's a wonderful man. We certainly know he's a fantastic musician. And again, this is a little piece of history, and I love the fact that it's actually signed on the sleeve of an album that you can play as well. Yeah,
it's a beautiful piece. That 947007, brand new today, the Rick Wakeman. You've got to get a wiggle on if you want that. Now, let's go two-tone now. Let's go ska. Let's go madness. We have got this incredible gold disc by Madness. This is phenomenal, Alex.
Yeah, this is great, isn't it? Again, that whole ska movement as well. It's baggy trousers, it's madness. It should have been love. This is what's great. This is Suggs. Again, Suggs massively popular. This is when you know, when you've got a band and then the lead singer as well transcends into other things. But music that will stay with us forever. We're talking about over 10 top UK hits for Madness alone, which is fantastic. And what I like about this, because you've obviously got the replica gold disc here, looks absolutely fantastic. If you see what I mean, Mike, with this, the beauty of this is as well, you've got the two gold stars on the top, but even the frame is golden around the outsides as well. 50 by 60 centimetres will look fantastic on the wall.
Right, guys, you're kind of up against it now. Everything you've seen thus far, lots of people want. Unfortunately, we don't have lots of anything. The signatures are all one-offs. The gold discs, the platinum discs, I know there's 100 in existence. We don't have anywhere near 100 of them. So please make sure you check out your baskets. Now we've got Slash. Alex?
Yeah, Saul Hudson is his real name, but Slash, who we know, of course, if you're a fan of Guns N' Roses, I think personally, Mike, we are talking about the greatest, certainly one of the greatest, if not the greatest guitarist of all time. Time magazine voted him #2 best guitarist in the world behind Jimi Hendrix, so it's not bad company for him to be keeping here at all. A couple of crazy facts, because, you know, let's face it, it's Guns N' Roses, it's that rock and roll from the 80s. He has a pet anaconda called Sam, and he had a pet mountain lion called Curtis. Amazing.
Wow, there you go. 947008. If you are a rocker, you've got to have that, and that is personally signed by the man himself.
And really rare, sorry, I need to point that out as well. Really, really rare. When we're talking about Slash, when we're talking about Steve Tyler, when we're talking about these kind of artists, they don't sit around and just sign things willy-nilly, if you like. So to get this signature, fantastic.
Now, one of the biggest bands in the world ever. They are, apparently are they in residency in Las Vegas as well? This is Steve Tyler from Aerosmith, personally signed, one of my favourite bands. I love Aerosmith.
Yeah, so do I. It surprises so many people that I love Aerosmith as well, because, you know, I'm sat here in my jumper and my shirt and tie, and all of a sudden I'll start busting out Lovin' an Elevator, and people are thinking, that just sounds so wrong coming out of your mouth, but I love it. Dude looked like a lady. She's got it. Amazing. The collaboration with Run DMC, one of my favourite albums of all time, is Big Ones. It's just, you know, crying. The vocal range on this man is incredible. The family is amazing. Father of Liv Tyler, of course, which they came together to film the film Armageddon, and that iconic soundtrack. I don't want to miss a thing.
Diane Warren wrote that, I think, didn't she?
I don't know. For me, it's
yeah.
Aerosmith. I'm singing it. I love it. That's the #1 wedding song as well for first dances.
947009 is the item number if you want the Steve Tyler. Right, guys, we've got 2.5 minutes left. Now, Fleetwood Mac rumours. This is a phenomenal piece. Now you've seen that, you all want Fleetwood Mac, don't you? Right, very, very quickly, Al, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible. When we're talking about iconic albums, in the top 5 of Rolling Stone, of course, Rumours is in there as well. 40 million of these sold alone. Absolutely incredible. Again, a band that's broken up, got together, broken up, got back together. They've recently gone back on tour. This was phenomenal. The tour they did of the States, and literally just working around the States, was reported to be worth $174 million. Amazing.
586272 is the item number if you want the rumours. Get on the Ideal World website, idealworld.tv, have a little look. Guys, there's loads we can't even show you. We just don't have time. But you've got to get a wiggle on. And remember, everything comes with a certificate of authenticity. You will have your 14-day money-back guarantee. Everything is AFTAL protected. So that means it's all been authenticated and everything you need to know. We're going to quickly go back to the lady of the moment, the incredible Adele. Crazy busy on this. If you've got this in your basket or on the phone lines, you need to get a wiggle on. These are going to go. Al?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, she's got 27 major honours if you count Grammys and Brit Awards, and she's only 33. She's nearly got more awards than she's got years being on the planet. It's incredible, iconic, and 33 years old. We know it's only going to get bigger and bigger and better. This, for me, is the piece of the evening, because when you're looking back in maybe 10, 15, 20 years' time, and you're looking at some of the other albums that she's then brought out in the future, this is one of the very early releases. This is something that really is a piece of art and a piece of history.
947001. So there you go, guys. They are artistic, they are visually stunning, they are highly collectible, they are ridiculously affordable, and they are all up for grabs, but not for much longer. Alex, thank you so much indeed, mate. Great to see you.
Pleasure.
All my love to you and the family. So, gang, it really does just boil down to you now. Are you going to let these opportunities pass you by? The rare one-off signature signed pieces, or these incredible, highly collectible platinum and gold discs that you can have on your own wall, so you can have your own talking points of your favourite artist, or maybe just the most iconic item and most iconic artists of decades. So from me to you, take care, stay safe. Check out your baskets. We're always busier after the show than we are during the show, and sellouts are imminent. But don't go anywhere. There's always more to shop for here on Ideal World. Enjoy your night. Take care.